Dear friends, the DigiU ecosystem is here, with Alexey Ognev, CEO of the project, and Boris Povar, head of the blockchain lab and CEO of eywa, with us today. eywa.fi, yes. So, we are on Blockchain Live today, and we are interviewing our CEO of the first potential unicorn. Anyway, all you know it. Boris, say hello to our partners and tell us what this forum is all about. Greetings to all the partners of the DigiU ecosystem. We are present today at the Blockchain Live Forum. This is the largest blockchain forum in the CIS. And we have a stand here today, and I have a VIP ticket, which gives me access to the VIP lounge, where a lot of heads of different projects are. And the main purpose of visiting this forum is to attract new partnerships and to attract interest of potential investors, funds, and users. This is to less extent. It's more about partnerships. Like some kind of business collaborations. Quite a few projects are actively approaching us. I have already been interviewed by local guys who make videos for Blockchain Live, and in general, I see quite a lively interest in the project because we are really quite a complex project. Basically, everything here is much simpler, like mining, selling equipment, listings on exchanges, and we stand out a little bit, and people apparently notice it and they are interested. I'm really telling people a lot about the project. Yes, there are quite a lot of people at the stand. Tell me what the goals for the team itself. You brought a team here and there are a lot of people here. What goals have you set for them and what do you manage to achieve? Actually, one of the goals was to see these people live because that's the first time I see many of them. Because we work remotely, we have phone calls and so on. That is, it's a kind of a team building in the first place. And in the second place, of course, when people see, for example, a technical director or a developer is alive, they have a much higher level of trust than I would stand there alone and tell them that I have 20 people, 20 developers and so on. And now there are at least 5-6 of the developers present at the conference today. They also go around and talk to people about the project from more like technical side, because sometimes people come up who are interested in this form of collaboration and how, for example, it's possible to interact. And because we decided to hold the first hackathon this year in December, we already tell them about this possibility. That, for example, maybe they already have an application or they can develop an application from scratch using our technology and take part in the hackathon. Okay, let's talk about the hackathon a little bit later, and let's now talk a little bit more about this forum. Any trends you may have noticed for yourself? Quite a few companies are here represented and there are speakers on the stage. But maybe you see some trends that await us in the next year or so. Yes, absolutely. First of all, people talk a lot more about DeFi. There were separate sections where speakers talked only about DeFi, decentralized autonomous organizations, future decentralized states on blockchain, and so on. And two more powerful trends are NFT and GameFi. GameFi is play to earn, games on blockchain, games using blockchain, and NFT. And accordingly, I have already spoken to many people. In particular, there is such a famous person in the CIS as Pakras Lampas. We talked to him yesterday and he is also interested in our project. Maybe we will have some kind of partnership or collaboration regarding the NFTs. And I'm now talking about the NFTs which we plan to distribute by airdrop, so that there could be some interesting game mechanics, so that it doesn't just end at the level of handing out those NFTs so that they can be used further. That is, perhaps there will already be some partner project that will make some, for example, games where these NFTs will be applied and so on. We might come to this as a result of the hackathon as well. Now for our partners. So eywa is an ecosystem. The ecosystem eywa is being created. It's open and prepared for these trends that you are noticing here. Did I get it right? Yes, absolutely, because all the game projects, they are launching in different blockchains, because they are trying to find, well, they need to find a blockchain so that there are cheaper transactions or where there are more users, and they are, of course, potentially all interested in transitions between blockchains and so on. And we also have a roadmap there for NFT transfer between blockchains, something like a cross-chain for NFTs. And if we integrate with GameFi and NFT theme, we need in fact a cross-chain NFT marketplace, which we will probably do too, but next year, after the mainnet release. The main focus of the mainnet will be the transfer of stablecoins between blockchains, and I think we will start there. Great. Let's get a bit more specific now in terms of partners from all over the world will watch us. Some are familiar with eywa, some are not. So for 2 days you are at this forum, and for 2 days you've been telling new people about eywa. So let's try to give a small but concise definition. I came up with a story recently. There was a question there about how could you explain a 7-year-old child what it is? So, now cryptocurrency is, roughly speaking, an ocean of islands. Each island is a blockchain, a separate one. And on those islands there are inhabitants, people, and they are individual cryptocurrencies like stablecoins, bitcoins, ether, and so on. And they go to work, and the jobs, let's say, they are DeFi protocols. That is, for example, a decentralized exchange or a loan protocol, etc. Now, that is, the story is that these people live in isolation on one island and only go to work on that island. But there is a problem, because they know that they have relatives on other islands, and also they know that there are interesting employees on the other islands, and they would really like to go there and visit them, for example, or live on one island and work on another. And now, actually, if the allegory continues, the road to the other island is really dangerous. There are pirates, sharks, storms, and so on. And you could sail to the wrong island, I guess. Yes, you can get lost or not come back at all. And in this case, eywa is a kind of a transport. You can say it's a teleport from one island to another island, or some kind of a cruise liner that takes them there and back. In other words, the money which is in one chain can be made to work in another chain, or even in several chains at the same time. Yes, transfer them back, and it's not just money. It could be the data too, that a message can be sent from one island to another. Well, I think that's more than a clear definition for everyone. I suggest everyone to remember it in terms of understanding how the projects like this work, what they are for, and how people benefit from them. My picture of the world definitely became clearer. So let's go even deeper. Alpha testing launched on September the 8th. Just briefly, how did it go and how successful was it? Well, it's still in process, and in fact, there soon will be a very active phase when we will give the opportunity to perform tasks without any limits. That is, right now there are some fixed combinations of blockchains, and we will allow people to choose any combinations of blockchains and collect a lot of points. So we will run a referral program as well. Roughly speaking, people who can tell a large audiences about us, they can earn extra points for that, and it's already working. And now I can say that there are about 40,000 people who have taken part in our alpha testing already. Soon there will be a big update. We will add many new cases, new blockchains, and we have already opened the pro mode. In other words, so there is a basic mode, which is the minimum necessary to get into the project's IDO, to participate in the public sale. Tasks need to perform. There are basic tasks, and you also will need to subscribe to social networks. After that, the pro mode opens up many more opportunities to earn points. And in fact, it's important, the more weight you have, like the more points you have, the more airdrop you will get when it will take place. Clearly, of course, the influencers who will earn the most of points, but they are in fact the ones who do the most good for the project by attracting new people. I think it's fair. Yes, and we're also constantly creating new language chats. Recently we've added Chinese and I think Turkish. Of course, Indonesia is a big language chat there, and also we have Vietnamese chat. So we are constantly adding new languages, working on translations. We have added translation for these languages to the bot in Telegram, and we are working on translating the application and the whole website and the app in those languages. More likely there will be another testing in the beginning of next year, testing of Relayers network, when there will be a decentralized release of this version of our blockchain. There will be a separate short test for those people who will launch their nodes. Until then, we will continue to test DEX, which is a decentralized exchange. Then, the plan is to let people test gasless transactions after this major update. So this is roughly the plan for now, pretty much. Great. And you brought up the topic of hackathon at the beginning of the conversation, and I take it is that there are some rough plans. So can we go back to that point? Yeah, some kind of a spoiler. People from DigiU will always be the first to know, as they always do. In general, a hackathon is being planned. Obviously, it's going to be a big event. Is there anything else you can tell us about it, or if not, we can wait? Well, we are currently working on the organization of this hackathon. I mean, we're looking for partners, and we already have a number of partners. We plan to get some organization that professionally involved in organizing hackathons, that is, they have experience in organizing international online hackathons, and they already have large community of developers who they already have a warm audience, and it's much easier to attract them to the project. And what's the purpose of the hackathon? The purpose of the hackathon is for other projects to use our technology. From a business point of view, there is a B2B and there is a B2C. B2C is the DEX cross-chain that gives the end user the opportunities to transfer money, stablecoins from blockchain to a blockchain, or exchange stablecoins from one blockchain into other tokens and other blockchain, and so on. Not to pay gas, do it easier, and pay commissions and stablecoins. And the most convenient user experience possible is the B2C market. B2B is about integration solutions. That is, we enable developers to create solutions that transfer data between blockchains using our network, and we will earn money on this too from each call. We will charge accordingly for each cross-chain call, also for the transfer, for example, of bridge tokens of some projects between blockchains and so on. There are quite a lot of cases for B2B, and for this we are actively developing the business direction. We are even now looking for people to join the team who will work with partnerships such as various cryptocurrency wallets, DeFi protocols, blockchain ecosystem, which is important. Many blockchain ecosystems are now allocating huge amounts of money for seed investment to projects which are doing something on the basis of their blockchain. And we will actively work on these partnerships in order to attract additional grants from the blockchain ecosystems. We are making a universal solution and can eventually receive We will work on getting grants in many ecosystems. That is, roughly speaking, we are not directly competing with anyone there. On the contrary, we should be friends with everyone. That is the direction, and the hackathon is just the way to speed this process up. Great. That is, though, integration of various development teams at the development level in the first place. And of course, this is a marketing story, of course, because if big projects come to us, of course, initially there will be some kind of startups, but startups tend to grow quickly and their communities will grow and learn about us. We will also offer them our community so they will be more interested and so on, and in the end, I think, everything will lead to the integration with larger players who are established in the market, protocols which already have large audiences, and we will probably expand our audience at their expense. So, this is roughly the concept that we described in the white paper: collaborations, interactions between various teams, various blockchains, and so on. And in fact, what we are doing now is leading to us putting it into practice. This seems to me to be the key skills of a successful project. First, to write and plan, and second, to implement. Well, maybe the last couple of words about the mainnet, if we can say something. You don't need to be too specific here now, we understand, and it's not necessary to be too specific now. Well, we aim for mainnet in the first quarter of 2022. In more detail, I probably won't even say. More details on eywa's social media. And one last thing, maybe some wish based on this whole atmosphere for our partners. Based on what's on your mind, just wish something and we'll call it a day. Well, I recommend all the partners to study the topic of DeFi, because it's quite an amazing thing that is already changing the world and will continue to change it. I'm just keeping track of some global processes that are going on. What is actually happening right now is, well, in my recent observation, I'll share. The process was going on, and the first exchanges made their own blockchains. Binance made Binance Smart Chains, Huobi made Huobi Heco Chain, and so on. And essentially, it's kind of a way of decentralizing the centralized exchanges. That is, to get away from regulations and so on into kind of a shared economy. And the next stage is that there are some big players in venture capital markets, such as Alameda Research, Andreessen Horowitz. They have billions of dollars that they are willing to invest in cryptocurrencies, but you can't allocate that much money in a single individual project, such as a DeFi protocol. So they started doing the following. They started financing some kind of a blockchain. For example, there is Alameda Research Venture Fund. They have their own centralized exchange, FTX, which is fighting for leadership with Binance and on many fronts trying to move it somehow. And they have Solana blockchain, which they were early investors in, and they are pouring a lot of money into it, hundreds of millions of dollars, almost billions of dollars in seed investment in projects based on Solana, for example. And the same story is happening now with Andreessen Horowitz. There is a blockchain called Near, and it's also being developed by Russians. The guys came to Silicon Valley from Ijevsk in 2017, got an investment of 16 million from Andreessen Horowitz, and they started developing their blockchain. And now they already have 800 millions of seed money allocated to this Near ecosystem for projects based on this protocol. And my point is that it's quite a serious sign, because the venture capitalists are the pioneers. These are the people who invested in Facebook, Andreessen Horowitz invested in Skype, Airbnb, and so on. So, the story is that this tells us that the future is coming very soon, and we need to learn and immerse ourselves in these technologies now. We have, for example, a course, and, well, it's probably quite difficult to grasp. There are also some different books, like, for example, How to DeFi, you can read it, or How to DeFi Advanced, in order to catch this train that is rapidly gaining momentum and at least start investing, at least in stable coins or farming or some assets, because it's likely that in the next 5 years there will be a reassessment, and it is very likely that billions of users would move to cryptocurrencies, and anything that seemed very expensive today may seem very cheap in 5 years, like comparing for the current price. So, my friendly advice to everyone is to take your time, research good projects, try investing, because it is always possible to overtake Bitcoin, as I say in my course, if you invest in some good altcoins, in some good projects, in good teams, and the upside market. It seems pretty limitless so far. With everything that is going on currently at the regulatory level, with the movements of the big institutional players, it's clear that it has already become interesting for the guys from Wall Street, and so on and so forth. So, do study this topic. I guess it's kind of a long answer, but valuable. Friends, actually study, put it into practice what you have studied, and as Boris said, in 5 years, and I think much sooner, you will see the effect of your knowledge, of putting it into practice. I thank you, Boris, for the interview, for this wish, and for all this information, which I think will change a lot of lives. Subscribe to eywa's social media, go through the alpha testing, subscribe to DigiU's social media, and spread the video among your friends and partners. All the best. Thank you. See you in crypto world.